Do poets have their monopoly on inspiration? Should we be afraid to say, I don't know, to ourselves and to other people? Does ordinary life even exist? These and other questions are reflected upon in the work of the well-known Polish poet and the Nobel Prize winner Wisława Szymborska. Szymborska is a remarkably prominent poet in her native Poland, as well as throughout the world thanks to numerous translations. And to celebrate her work, we thought we'd share some of her poems today. And the first poem that is translated by Baranczak and Kavanagh is called A Note. Life is the only way to get covered in leaves, catch your breath on the sand, rise on wings, to be a dog or stroke its warm fur, to tell pain from everything it's not, to squeeze inside events, dawdle and use, to seek the least of all possible mistakes. An extraordinary chance to remember for a moment a conversation held with the lamp switched off, and if only once to stumble upon a stone, end up soaked in one downpour or another, mislay your keys in the grass, and to follow a spark on the wind with your eyes, and to keep on not knowing something important. And another poem, also translated by Baranczak and Kavanagh, is titled Possibilities. I prefer movies. I prefer cats. I prefer the oaks along the Warta. I prefer Dickens to Dostoevsky. I prefer myself liking people to myself loving mankind. I prefer keeping a needle and thread on hand, just in case. I prefer the color green. I prefer not to maintain that reason is to blame for everything. I prefer exceptions. I prefer to leave early. I prefer talking to doctors about something else. I prefer the old fine-lined illustrations. I prefer the absurdity of writing poems to the absurdity of not writing poems. I prefer, where love's concerned, non-specific anniversaries that can be celebrated every day. I prefer moralists who promise me nothing. I prefer cunning kindness to the over-trustful kind. I prefer the earth in cities. I prefer conquered to conquering countries. I prefer having some reservations. I prefer the hell of chaos to the hell of order. I prefer Grimm's fairy tales to the newspaper's front pages. I prefer leaves without flowers to flowers without leaves. I prefer dogs with uncropped tails. I prefer light eyes, since mine are dark. I prefer desk drawers. I prefer many things that I haven't mentioned here to many things I've also left unsaid. I prefer zeros on the loose to those lined up behind a cipher. I prefer the time of insects to the time of stars. I prefer to knock on wood. I prefer not to ask how much longer and when. I prefer keeping in mind even the possibility that existence has its own reason for being. Thank you very much for watching this. Stay safe and have a nice day.